I'm Sierra.
I'm Brendan.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Allie.
And I'm Gabby.
And our topic is disparity in graduation rates for African American and Caucasian SEC football players. We want to make more people aware of the gap between African American male athletes and Caucasian athletes. We focused on football players in the Southeastern Conference because the SEC has a very large football program. We are interested in this topic because education is a very important part of being a student athlete as well as later in life. Professional football careers are very short, and these athletes need a degree to ensure different careers after their football career is over.
Some history about our topic show that there is a significant gap between graduation rates of Caucasians and African American football players. According to the ESPN article, record narrow gap for grad rates. On average, the graduation rates of the Caucasian football players and the African American football players are both rising. All bowl-bound schools received a score higher than 930. This is equivalent to a 50% graduation rate and the NCAA's academic progress rate. While a 50% graduation rate is a good number of college graduates, especially for the Southeastern Conference, with a large number of bowl-bound teams, the gap between the two races is way too large. Some may ask, but why is this? According to the report done by Steve Reed, it is thought that the lack of quality education provided at younger ages for some African Americans is really hurting them later on. They do not have the same background, making it harder for them to catch up in college.
Some quick facts about the disparity of graduation rates between African American and Caucasian SEC football players. According to the annual report by the Institute for Diversity and Ethnics in Sport, the average graduation success rate for black football players at bowl schools is 67% compared to 85% for whites. And only 37% of the bowl-bound schools graduated 66% or more of African American student athletes. However, 99% of those same schools graduated at least 66% of white students. We have our graphics on our poster, and this one shows the graduation rates of all the student athletes in the SEC, and we have the darker purple that is shows the black male athletes compared to the rest of the student body, or the student athletes. Vanderbilt is the same. I thought that was important to point out. And then we have the top chart, or the top graphics, that just show more of the differences between the African American students versus the white athletes and the differences.
Some possible solutions to the large gap in the graduation rates of SEC football players between African Americans and Caucasians are:
Players need to be provided better primary education. This is a matter of fixing the education system as a country where low-wealth areas will be provided with the same educational resources.
Another possible solution is a better system of tutoring for athletes who are struggling, not only in college but in high school as well. Not just limiting these tutoring services to college student athletes, because these players were student athletes in high school as well, and their schedules are very demanding. Many high schools do not offer as much tutoring for student athletes, causing them to fall behind.
It's very important also that college athletes everywhere are encouraged to finish college before entering the NFL draft. The NFL needs to come up with a way to make players stay and finish their college education.
And that the SEC colleges need to provide a particular ratio of academic advisors to athletes to focus more on efforts to the athlete's academic success. As a whole, student athletes' graduation rates are rising, but it is crucial for academic advisors to work to fix the gap.
These possible solutions, we hope, will ensure a smaller gap in the graduation rates of African American and Caucasian football players in the Southeastern Conference.
After collaborating with Abigail's Braun group, who focused on the ACC, we concluded that the ACC has a much smaller gap between African American and Caucasian football players. We hope that in the future these solutions will become reality and that the graduation rates of all student athletes will continue to rise.